Part of my idea has maybe some Flexi ply in it or some acrylic that is going to be put in the oven and formed in a certain way. There's a few different ways I can draw those kinds of things. So first of all, I'm going to do maybe a half circle shape that would be, again, it could be Flexi ply or it could be acrylic. So if I draw a circle, I'm going to have it facing up this time. I'm going to draw a circle. Now again, I need to know the diameter or the size of the piece that I want to make as part of my design. So I'm going to make my circle, I'm going to say that I wanted a piece 300 millimeters in diameter, like that. I'm going to draw another circle on the inside to indicate the other piece of acrylic. So if the acrylic is 3 millimeters, for example, the inside diameter of the circle would need to be 6 less. We've got 3 millimeters either side. So I'm going to make that 294, like that. I'm also going to draw a line right across the middle here, like that. And I'm going to use trim to get rid of the bits that I don't want, like that. Now, if I stop that sketch, I've got a half circle profile here that is 3 millimeters thick. So if I extrude that shape, then I would have something that could visually represent some formed acrylic or some formed Flexi ply. Obviously, the thickness of that could change depending on how many pieces of Flexi ply I would be putting together. Another way of drawing some maybe some more dynamic kind of looking forms with acrylic and Flexi ply could be if I use the spline tool. Now, before I start using the spline tool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle that represents the length and width of form that I want. So I've just dragged that out to 150 by 50. Obviously, for your idea, you will need to figure that out, and you need to figure that out before you start drawing. But I'm going to go with 150 by 50, just because it's nice and convenient and it's there. And I'm going to come down to a sketch, and I'm going to use the spline tool. I'm going to start here. Now, every time you click with the spline tool, you get a bit more of a curve. So every time I'm clicking there, I'm getting a bit more of a curve. I'm going to come around to about there. Once you've finished, move your cursor without clicking to the little tick here, and click that. I'm going to trim away this part, and this part, because they were merely a frame for me to get the size right. And that gives me a single line. Now I can't extrude that right now because it's just a single line. So what I'm going to do is use the offset feature here. And that allows me to click on lines and offset a shape from the original one at a specific size. Now the acrylic is 3 millimeters, so if I say 3, then it gives me a line 3 millimeters from there. So now I've kind of almost finished my shape to extrude it. I can't extrude this shape because it's not closed at these points here and at this point here. So quickly, with a straight line, click once, twice, fill that shape up, and once, twice. Now when I click on this, you'll see it change kind of color a little bit. That means it's a closed shape. I can stop my sketch and I can extrude that now. And that gives me a kind of curved form again, which may be representative of acrylic that I've put in the oven and formed or Flexi ply. If your idea has a feature where you want to wrap some Flexi ply or some acrylic around a shape and attach it that way, then this is how you would do that. I have a side here and another side. I just drew one by extruding it with sketches, and I copied and pasted it and moved this one across here. And I want to follow this shape all the way around. I'm going to wrap acrylic right the way around to there. Now, I've already got the shape there. I don't have to draw that again, but I can use that to help me draw the acrylic part. So I go to Create Sketch, which you can see in here. I'm going to click onto the side of one of my shapes, and that will spin around there. Now if I click into Sketch and go to Offset, I can choose the lines that I want to offset from this original shape I've already drawn. If Change Faces is ticked, it will want to select the whole thing. I don't want that because I don't want a line all the way up here. I don't want the acrylic to come all the way up here. I just want it to stop here and stop here. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to choose that one, and that one. And I'm going to offset the shape. That basically moves it away from the original shape, a specified dimension. I want it to be 3 millimeters away because the acrylic is 3 millimeters thick. OK that. Now this isn't a closed shape here and here, so I can't extrude that yet. So what I'm going to do is use the line tool, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit because it's a little bit fiddly. Click once, twice, and then I'm going to do the same over here. Once, twice. That should then allow me to extrude it. So stop my sketch. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to move it along to here. Obviously it looks like wood, so I can change that to acrylic later. You can either drag it to the right side by eye, or if you know the distance, you can just type the distance into here. Now it automatically thinks I want to join that together because it's touching another body. I don't. I want it to be separate because then I can show an exploded drawing later on. So you must choose new body. That makes it a new body. You can see the material change there because it knew it wasn't one thing. I OK that, and you can see here I had side 1 and side 2. I now have body 3. I'm going to put that as acrylic form, like that. And then if I go to modify, I can change the appearance to some plastic. Opaque just means you can't see through it. I'm going to go for some blue. And then I've got my acrylic form wrapped around my frame.